Hey guys, it's Kay, aka the Purple Teapot, and welcome. Today I'm doing something different and talking about the show Fire Country and the mid-season finale episode. Let's get into it, but before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts on the things that I say. And if I have time, I will reply. Sometimes life means that I don't reply, but I do try and reply. And disclaimer to those who are listening to me for the first time, if I'm saying something that sounds a little out of line, I'm joking because this is a work of fiction and I can make jokes. Okay, let's start with Eve. I think after this episode we're going to see her taking more initiative and not letting Jake walk all over her. I think that after this incident she's going to be the one who steps up and saves Bode's life, if I'm honest, and this is going to be the catalyst that makes her more than just a follower of Jake, which I feel like she's been for the last, is it 7 or 8 episodes? I can't remember how many episodes. I think that her character has potential. I also think Jake's character has potential, but right now I think because they're more focused on Bode and building up his family, it's a bit boring. I hope to see more because, you know, I'm going to support my black people just that little more because yeah. But tell me what you think about Eve in the comments, and on all the characters, tell me who your favourite character is. I don't have a favourite character for this show. They have to grow on me. I do think Jake's hot, but other than that, I haven't got a favourite. Next. Okay, so let's talk about Jake. I think I need him to realise that Gabby is not moving in with him. And I feel like even if at the end of the next episode she agrees to move in, he's not going to want her to move in. But you know what? I'm going to leave that for in a couple of minutes and continue talking about Jake. Okay, Jake, Gabby does not want to move in with your finances. Like, you should just call me, for real. All jokes aside, I think their relationship is meh. Like, no chemistry, little chemistry. Like, it's like they put two extremely hot people together and we're like, yes, that's going to work. And then they don't have chemistry. It's just like, Like, I wouldn't even think that he and Gabriella were friends. They just don't vibe to me. I really need him to get some friends. His relationship with Eve, I think, is more like a brother-sister relationship, and I think that one thing that this show is missing is good friendships. We're in season 1, so they've got time to build it up. I really do need some character development for him, and I think that if he gets character development, he's probably going to have one of the better character development arcs out of everybody, and I can't explain why. That's just the vibe that I feel. I feel like with that impending breakup and then the addition of his mother, I want to know more about his relationship with his family. I think that's where we can start to get some development and him be more than just the hot guy. Yeah, I'm gonna need that. You know, I'm here for some mess. One question I have for you guys, how do you think he's going to react when he watches Gabriella's reaction to Bode going over a bridge? Because you know she's not going to be okay with that. She's a swimmer, so she might try and jump in and save Bode. Hopefully she doesn't, because that was too far of a jump. But you know, who knows? For real, let's get into Gabby now. I'm not her biggest fan, but I think she has potential. I don't know why I'm not her biggest fan. It might be the way that she's being written. I think because she's kind of being written as the love interest for Jake and Bode, I think it's taken away from the character itself, and I think we're going to get to see more of her and her relationship with her dad. Like, we've seen it, but like, I feel like we could get into it a little bit more. One thing I do want to say is I think that this episode that's going to come back in January or February, I don't know when the show's coming back, it's going to be like the start of the breakup for Gabby and Jake, which I'm here for. I feel like they're going to try and like fix the relationship or something, and it's just not going to work, and they're probably going to break up probably the end of this season, maybe early next season, and then, you know, Bode's going to swoop him when he gets out of jail or wherever he is. I do really want to see Gabby do well. I want to see her become a full-fledged firefighter and just be fighting these fires, because this show's like, the firefighting in the show, I don't know how realistic it is because I'm not a firefighter, but it's really entertaining to watch. I was just thinking about how I feel like this, I've already said this, but this show, it needs more friendships. I think that's what's kind of missing from this show. If there was one thing I was to say, there was something missing, it would be the friendships and the lack of them. I think that there's potential. We're only a few episodes in, so obviously, but that's what I want. Okay, let's talk about Manny. Sir, if you don't chill, for real, like, between him and Vince, they were giving me a headache. Like, I don't know what was going on. I think by the end of this season, he's going to either have stolen or be very close to stealing to fund his gambling addiction. It was almost like somebody had turned on a tap and like the tap had broken and it's just, the water's just filling, because this happened so fast in my eyes. He's like in deep water and I'm here like, the tap's not turning off, the tap is broken, and I'm like, this is going to end up so bad for him and Gabby. It's going to be awful on his relationship with his daughter. It's going to affect his job in the fire training camp or whatever it's called. These little things, I think between that and the fact that he kind of felt some sympathy for Sharon and let Bode stay, between all that stuff, I think it's not going to look good for him at the end of this season, unfortunately. I do think at the end of this season he's going to go away, probably go to rehab, I don't know, Gamblers Anonymous, something. Just take some time for himself, probably, if he doesn't end up in prison, which I don't know, could possibly happen. I actually see that happening. Can we talk about how in the episode before this one, it really, 1 + 1 equals him stealing. We all thought he was stealing, and then he had the nerve to be kind of irritated at Bode that he didn't trust him. Like, he was the last person to be saw with the watch. I also would have thought that it was him who did Teapot. Let's talk about Sharon. First of all, where was she? I know she's on leave, yeah. One thing about this episode was all the men were a mess. Between that, we had Jake, who knows what Jake was doing. Then we had Bode, who's going through it in his head, and we didn't even know till the end of the episode that he was going through it as well. And then he was trying to calm down his dad. And we had Vince, doing stalling to the point where we saw that outcome in the end. And then we had Manny, who, we just talked about Manny. Sharon needs to go back to work. I feel like she's going to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going back to work. I'm not going to be doing my firefighting thing, but I'm going to be managing you guys, because the last time Bode almost died, and she don't play about her son. I think that she's going to pull some strings and get back to work. And talking about pulling strings, let's talk about that no good brother. Ugh. You know something? I was like, after this episode and the flashbacks, I thought, oh, he's not that bad of a guy. He really isn't. He's not that bad. It's just Vince demonizing everyone. But no, Vince was right to demonize his brother, because that woman is dying and you're making your move. You're like, oh, this is my last chance to get with my brother's wife. Are you mad? Like, one last chance to get it in? Absolutely not. This man, man out here thinking with his penis. Sharon's goal the last few episodes is getting her family back together, and this man's trying to destroy his family. Oh my days. He's an op. His madness. Like, I was like, oh, he's just... No, they were right. They really were right about that man. Ugh, I'm actually kind of disgusted. I really hope we don't get like flashbacks or insinuations that she and Vince's brother had an affair previously, because I really don't think my brain could take that. Okay, so Vince, let's talk about Vince. Like, I understood it. Between him and Bode, I think they were sharing the same brain cell that day. Because you've got a sick wife at home who's doing everything in her power to get her family back together, and you want to jump in a car? Are you mad? Also, these flashbacks had me like, Vince is enemy number 1 at this point when it comes to me, because I don't play about Bode for real. I don't play about Bode, but I'll still take the mic. This boy just lost his sister. I get it. That's your son, yeah? And your first instinct is to blame him. You just want someone to blame. We're not blaming anybody, because if we really want to go to the source, you know who the person to blame is? It's Jake for breaking Riley's heart. Then you'd have to blame Riley opening the door and wanting to jump out of a moving car. Like, sir, sis wanted to unalive herself that day. Don't blame your son for something that was an accident. To me, it just screams selfish at the end. Like, it screams selfish like originally, but then after watching the flashbacks and everything happening, it just really screams selfish. Because I get it, Bode was doing all these things, drinking alcohol, but then stopped, and the first thing you think of is, instead of comforting your son, you just think to blame him. Everybody's grieving, and the first thing you've just lost your daughter, and the first thing you decide to do is to break up your family even more. Make that make sense, sir. Vince lost points after those flashbacks, and then in this episode he wanted to jump in his car, and you see, if that was him who dropped, Sharon would have lost all the will to live. She's gonna lose the will to live once she finds out what happened to Bode. Let's talk about Bode. Sir, you are as stupid as your father. Like, pretty, but as stupid as your father. I want to ask, what was in the air that day? It must be residual fumes from being around all those fires, because nobody was making the right decision. Like, nobody thought, let me call this in. Nobody. Ugh. Anyways. And that's why Bode dropped. To be honest, I did think that Bode was okay until the last few minutes when he jumped in the car, and I was like, oh, you're on one too. Like, I get it, he's like getting these flashbacks too of Riley, but sir, it wasn't your fault. Like, your dad is chatting. He's not in his right mind. That man, he clearly hasn't been okay for years. He needs therapy. I know he's talking to this priest, but he needs therapy as well. Or I'd like to ask, what happened to the woman who actually caused this crash on the bridge? I feel like that's gonna have something to do with Bode and him being at the bottom of this river in the next episode. That's one prediction I want to put out there. I do have some more respect for him. He really took the blame when he really didn't have to, because that wasn't his fault. It really wasn't. What happened with his sister, it was just an accident, a horrible accident, but it was an accident. And I hope that he gets to the point where he doesn't blame himself. I think that's going to be a recurring theme throughout this show. I don't know how long this show is going to last, but it will be a recurring theme, him dealing with the guilt of losing Riley and thinking he was to blame. I think by the end of this season, or towards like the mid-season of season 2, he will be out of prison doing his thing, probably taken over from Manny. You know, Gabby's gonna love that. Yeah, that's my prediction for him. Anyways, tell me what you thought about the first half of season 1 of Fire Country, and some of your predictions about the second half of season 1 of Fire Country. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on social media. Talk to you later. Oh my days, the way I've meant to be doing Vlogmas, it just hasn't worked out, man. Work has kicked my butt, man. It really has. I'm tired, but I had to get this out to you. Also, probably gonna lose my monetization, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. See you guys.